When I came to Taiwan in 1987, I was amazed, and because I was a reporter, I studied the history of Taiwan. And I was amazed what had happened here. The vision of how this island's economy was built. How people like Li Guoding, K.T. Lee had vision for the technology sector and how they built Hsinchu, and how in the early days, in the 50s and 60s, how people from southern Taiwan would stand outside Sun Yat-sen Airport in Taipei with a sign that said, "I have a factory, I will manufacture for you." And as the Americans and Europeans got off the plane and did deals, Taiwan built its manufacturing sector. I also watched the development of the democracy in Taiwan. I used to drink with Zhu Gaozhong when he was in the legislature having fistfights. Chen Shui-bian, I knew him when he was doing Shiwei Youxing in the streets. And I watched people burn themselves to death, commit suicide for the democracy of Taiwan. And I was so proud to see Taiwan become a democracy. And I think you have a strong democracy. However, you're getting too much like Americans. Come on. It's Fubuguo Sandai. I mean, you've been wealthy for a few generations and you're not focused. And your politicians are like the American politicians. They get up in the morning and they don't say, "How do I make Taiwan a better place?" They say, "How do I kill the other party?" And everybody is fighting, and so think about it. Watch this through the eyes of China. China is holding on to its population as tight as it can for as long as it can to get the country as rich as it can before it becomes pluralistic and inefficient and difficult to get anything done. And they sometimes do that through brutal methods to keep the country together. And I have to say Taiwan did that in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and a good part of the 80s. They now look at Taiwan or America, and I'll use America. America's telling China, you must have a democracy. And they're thinking, wait, your democracy is you find an issue that divides the population, like gay marriage, and then you get the people attacking each other, and you use that to get elected. How is that going to help me? You have a big responsibility here in Taiwan, because you're the first Chinese democracy in history, and you have to get this right, because you are an example for the mainland. Right now, you're a bad example, and you help them tell their people, democracy will destroy our economy. What you need to do is make your democracy work and get your country focused on economic development and people being together for the country, and show China a better way. And I think you can do it. If you don't do it, don't follow America's path. We've been going the wrong way for a while. Anyhow, if I have one, what am I? You can listen to me or not. I'm just a guy that was here 20 years ago and has seen a few things. If I had one suggestion for the policymakers of Taiwan, vis-a-vis mainland, it would be open, direct flights. That is the most important thing. Because if you look at why was Taiwan so successful in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, besides having a population that is smart and hardworking? You were successful because China was isolated and you weren't. They were isolated and closed off to the world, and you were open. And the world came here and they did their manufacturing and did business, and your people went around the world and got educated and became very international. What have you done now? China has opened its doors to the world. The whole world is rushing into China. And you have isolated yourself. You've made yourself China. You're isolated. I've been here 3 times since I left in 1990. Why? I love this place. My daughter was born here. I want to bring her here. It's hard to get here. It takes a whole day. From Beijing, you got to go to Hong Kong and back up. It's inconvenient. If you had a 1-hour flight between here and China, it would be so good for your economy. Don't be scared of China. If you can fly 1 hour to China, people will put headquarters here. They'll bring in engineering here. Your people will do more business there. You'll open up to the world and you'll help build their economy. And if China is the problem, I've had somebody tell me in the last couple days that the direct flights between China and Taiwan, it's not China. In fact, that the government of Taiwan has said we want to open direct flights and China has said no. If that is the case, then don't take no for an answer. Go there and continue to negotiate this, get the Americans involved, and make it the key issue on improving Taiwan-China relations. The whole world wants Taiwan-China relations to improve. So does China. This is a big problem for China. It's embarrassing because they're not look like a civilized nation as long as they are threatening Taiwan. And they want to look like a civilized nation that is a world-class nation, and this is a big problem for them. So they want to solve it. And you've got an opportunity here because in 2 years you have an election where you can change the equation. China does not trust Chen Shui-bian. I'm not saying it's Chen Shui-bian's fault. I'll put nobody's fault. But they don't trust him and they never will trust him. They'll never deal with him. However, whoever is elected the next president of Taiwan has an opportunity to try to do a new opening with China. And Hu Jintao has an opportunity. By then, he will have consolidated more power. That is the year of the Olympics. China will feel strong. Maybe the one policy you get is direct flights, direct communications, and end your isolation because this is a great place and it deserves to continue marching ahead. Thank you very much.